Welcome to How It Works, a video series from Law Sites and LawNext, in which you get to see hands-on demonstrations of legal tech products directly from their developers. In today's episode, we're going to get a demonstration of Align, a digital case binder built by litigators for litigators. Joining me to tell us all about it and show us how it works is the company's founder and CEO, Sam Davidoff. Sam, welcome to How It Works.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Before we get into the demo, tell us a little bit about the company and what you do.
Sure. So I founded Align about 6 years ago after having been a litigation partner at Williams & Connolly in Washington, D.C. And we have one goal here with Align, which is to let lawyers and paralegals and legal assistants keep making and using and working with binders exactly like they're doing today, except digitally. That's it. We want to be the best digital binder product on the market, and that's what Align is.
All right. Without further ado, then, why don't we just jump right in and you can show us how it works.
Perfect. I'm going to start by showing you Align on the iPad. And Align's an iPad application, at least that's part of what it is. And the experience that we want lawyers to have on the iPad is, as I said, the same experience that they have with physical binders. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is just what it's like to use a binder on your iPad in Align. And I'm going to start with this example binder that I have here, which is an argument binder. This is the kind of binder that lawyers are very familiar with, the kind of binder that you would use to prepare for and do an oral argument in court. And if you look at this binder in Align, if you're a practicing lawyer or you work with practicing lawyers, with litigators, you know immediately what this is. This is a binder. It's got tabs. It's got documents in the binder. You can come in, you can start reading those documents and doing exactly what you would do with a physical binder, except here on your iPad. And so what are the things that you do with a physical binder? You read the documents, you flip through them. You can do that here on Align. You go in, and as you're reading, you highlight things, you take notes. And on the iPad, particularly if you use the Apple Pencil, although you can do it with your finger as well, you can do exactly those same things on the Align binder. For example, I'll highlight some portions of this brief. I will come in here and I'll highlight a few sentences here. And I can take some handwritten notes on it if I like, just like I would do with a physical binder. Similarly, just like I would do with a physical binder, you might do something like put a sticky note on the side or something to keep your page where you did so you can come back and know what are the documents that you marked up on, how can you quickly get to them. And you can do the exact same thing with Align. You'll notice as I made this annotation on the binder that a little sticky note flag on the left next to the name of it where it says complaint showed up. And that's meant to serve the exact same purpose as a sticky note in a normal document. So when I look at this list of tabs and documents in my binder, I can see the ones that I've marked up because they have sticky notes on them. And if I come into something like this Zoland case binder, I can immediately get to the pages that have sticky notes by just clicking on the sticky note and seeing the page. Come into this one, click on the sticky note, navigate to the pages that have my annotations on them. And this kind of functionality is critical in real binders, and we mimic it here in Align.
That sticky note is any kind of annotation you made, whether it's you made a handwritten note on it or you've done a highlighting or anything like that.
That's exactly right. And you could do a highlighting, you can do a handwritten note, you can do a typed note, you can do a stamp. Any of the kinds of things that you would do, this will show up and you'll see it here in the Align binder. So first and foremost, the idea behind Align is to give you an experience with your binders. All the things you could do in your physical binders, you can do in your digital binders, except instead of having to carry around physical binders or put together these massive binders, you literally can take your iPad with you on the plane wherever you are. So that's the first thing that I wanted to show you. I now want to show you some of the benefits you get from having a digital binder as opposed to a physical one. Of course, a big benefit you get is that you're not carrying physical binders. But there are other things as well. And one of them is, and probably the most important one, is collaboration. So, of course, with my physical binder, I could come into the binder, I could take notes on, let's say, this case, and I could say, I've highlighted some things here, I've written some portions that I think are key that will help me prepare for the argument. But now, because it's digital, I can actually have my case team members seeing the same binder on their iPads, on their laptop, whatever device that they're using. they can come in and take their own notes, and I have the ability to see that. And this is really cool. So here I am on a line. I'm looking at this binder. I'm looking at annotations in this binder, my annotations. By the way, if I want to look at this document clean, I can turn off my annotations and see the clean copy. But I can also come in and see my annotations. But let's say I've asked a team member to look at this case, a colleague, to look at this case and mark up what they think is important. By clicking this All tab to turn on all annotations here, I can immediately see my colleague's annotations. And I can see that the notes that my colleague left for me, that, oh, this is an important thing to take a look at. And that kind of workflow, that kind of collaboration inside a binder is new. And it allows workflows that were really cumbersome in the old days, you can now do effortlessly. I'll give you an example. Let's say that I'm going to go to a different binder here. I'm going to go into this trial binder here. And imagine that I have this deposition here. And I've read the deposition, but I say to a colleague, I need you to mark up the portions of this deposition that are key to this witness that I'm about to prepare. You can see here, this doesn't have any of my sticky notes on it. It means I haven't marked up this deposition. But I said to my junior associate, can you mark this deposition up for me? They do it on their iPad or their computer. I now click All. You saw that got the little sticky note tab. I click on the sticky note, and boom, I can go right to the key portions that they've marked up for me. And this is all sitting on my couch, sitting in my hotel room, sitting on my airplane, doing it. So those kinds of collaboration features, having not only a digital binder, but a digital binder that's in sync with your whole case team, is something that you can really only do when you've made your binders digital and paperless.
Yeah, that's good. Where are these documents being stored that everybody's having access to them?
Great point. So they're stored on a server, and that server is either, if you use our SaaS product for individuals and small firms hosted by us, or medium-sized and larger firms, we offer options for them to host it themselves, either in their own cloud or on-premise. So the documents are being stored centrally. However, we do have, and you'll notice on the bottom left here, this little cloud icon, this works offline. So although the documents are stored centrally, if you are on the airplane and it's got bad Wi-Fi, you're in a courthouse with no Wi-Fi, or maybe something more interesting, you've gone out to the desert to meditate about your next case, this will work without the Wi-Fi. All your notes and your highlights and annotations will be there. The next thing I wanted to show was actually how do we make these binders. And I'm going to switch over to the laptop, the computer version of the program, to show how that works. So Bob, here I am on the browser version of Align, and this is a version of Align that can run on any device that has a browser, laptop, desktop. It can run on the iPad too, although on the iPad we have the native application you saw before.
Right.
And on the browser-based version, this is where you do the creating and the editing of your binders. And first of all, what I want to say about the browser version is it looks very much like the iPad one that we saw before. And that's not an accident. It looks the same and it has all the same functionality with some slight differences for the kind of device you're on. But making a binder or updating a binder on this platform is really super simple. And I'll give you an example. I'll edit a binder here to illustrate it. Let's say I want to edit this trial binder. I click Edit. I'm now in the binder editor. And here, everything that I might want to change in this binder is super simple, drag and drop, what is what you get. So if I decided that I want to move this protective order a few numbers down in the tab order, I do that, just drag and drop and move it there. If I want to add new documents, I'll pull up some documents from my desktop or a shared drive or whatever, and I'll add them in, drag it. It's just drag and drop. You won't see me dragging it, but you'll see them upload. They upload, now they're in the system. And I can pull them over and, again, just drag and drop and add them in. And, of course, I can rename things, etc. Making and updating binders is that simple, right? It's just dragging things around into position. As you can see, you can make tabs. If I wanted to make a new tab for this binder, I can click the tab button and make say I had a court orders. I can drag that up here to be in that orders tab. I can turn it into a sub-tab. But it's that simple. It's that effortless to make those tabs, put those documents in order. And the beauty is that binder that we just made, those edits we just made to that binder are synced out to every single user who's using that binder on their iPad, on their laptop, wherever they are. And so this thing that I'm all too familiar with from having been a practicing lawyer for 20 years of I'm in my hotel, it's the night before the deposition, and I'm missing 3 documents that I need in my binder. And somebody's going to email it to me, and I'm going to run down to the business center and try to print it. That's all gone, right? You just make these edits in the thing here, you click save, and it's distributed out to everybody looking at the binders on their iPads or wherever they are.
Tell me who this is intended for. Who is the audience for this product?
The audience for it is litigators and litigation teams. So anybody who is doing litigation at any stage of litigation, and this is really whether you're an attorney who's a litigator, be that a partner, an associate, a solo practitioner, a paralegal supporting a litigator, a legal assistant, or somebody on a litigation team. It's for anyone who is in the business of litigation, and it's for all stages of litigation. So it is useful when you are reading those background documents that you got from your client on intake. It's useful when you're interviewing witnesses, when you're taking depositions, when you're standing up in court arguing motions, and it's useful at trial. We've had attorneys who have done trials by bringing a few iPads and distributing them out to witnesses, opposing counsel, and doing the trial like that on a line. So all stages of litigation, that's what it's for. That's what we've targeted it at.
Right. Sam, you've certainly accomplished what you set out to do, which is to create a trial binder that looks like the real thing, only in digital form. Looks really good. Thanks for this demonstration. Anything else you'd like to tell us before we wrap up?
No, thank you very much for having me, Bob. We are trying to do one thing, and that's what I've shown you today.
All right, Sam Davidoff, thanks a lot. The product is Align, and that's it for this episode of How It Works. You can find the full series on YouTube. Just search for How It Works. We're also on the LawNext Legal Tech directory. Just go to directory.lawnext.com and look for the resources tab there. This is Bob Ambrogi. Thanks for watching today.